When you become real, the shabbiness does not matter. Then, one day, the boy felt sick. He became very ill with a fever. His face became red and all flushed. He started to talk in his sleep. His body was so hot. His chest burned the rabbit when he was hugging her too close. A lot of strange people came and went into the nursery. A candle burned through the night. The Velveteen Rabbit laid there. Quietly, she was tucked under the bedsheet. She did not move. She was afraid that if they had found her, someone might take her away from the boy. And she knew the boy needed her to feel better. It was a long time, and the boy was too sick to play. The rabbit felt that a lot of time had passed. There was nothing to do all day. She snuggled down into the bed, looking forward to when the boy would feel happy again. They would go out into the gardens. There were many flowers and lots of butterflies. Velveteen Rabbit wanted to play games by the edge of the forest, like they used to on sunny days. She had planned all sorts of delightful things, all while the boy lay there half asleep. She got very close to the pillow. She whispered all of her ideas into the boy's ear. When the fever broke and the boy felt better, imagine all the wonderful adventures they could have. He would finally be able to sit up in his bed, look at picture books, and share stories. Finally, one day, they let him get up and get dressed. It was a bright and sunny morning. The windows were wide open. The nurses had carried the boy out for fresh air. He was wrapped in a wool blanket. The Velveteen Rabbit left tangled in the bed sheets thinking. The rabbit had heard the doctor talking about all the details. The boy was going to the beach tomorrow. Everything was already arranged. The only thing that remained was to carry out the doctor's orders. While the Velveteen Rabbit laid under the bedsheet, she had her head peeping out, ready to listen. The doctor wanted the room to be disinfected. All the books and the toys the boy played with must be burnt. The Velveteen Rabbit was not listening. She was too excited. Hooray, thought the rabbit. Tomorrow we're going to the beach. The boy had talked very often about going to the beach. He really wanted to see those big waves. Tiny crabs walking along the shore, and of course, building a sandcastle. Just then, Nana found the Velveteen Rabbit. "How about the rabbit?" she asked. "That," said the doctor. "Why, it has too many germs," he said. "What nonsense! The boy cannot have those toys anymore. Get him a new rabbit. Burn the old one immediately." Those were the doctor's orders. So, the Velveteen Rabbit was put into a sack There were old picture books and some of the other old toys. They were carried out to the garden behind the shed. There was a fire pit already there, waiting to make a bonfire. The thing was, the gardener was too busy to build one. The gardener had other chores. There were potatoes to dig and green peas to pick. So by tomorrow morning, the gardener promised to come out early and burn everything. That same night, the boy slept in a different bedroom. He had a new Velveteen Rabbit to sleep with. It was a spectacular new rabbit, with all white plush filling and 2 real glass eyes. But the boy was too excited. He was feeling better, too much to care about the new rabbit. All the boy was focused on was going to the beach. He just couldn't think about anything else. While the boy was asleep, dreaming all the seaside adventures, in the corner, the sack had been left untied. The toys were waiting to be burned, and the old Velveteen Rabbit laying with them. It made her feel very lonely. By wiggling back and forth, she was able to see through the sack. She was a little frightened. She used to sleep in a proper bed. Near the edge of the forest, fresh grass was glowing under the moonlight. In the tree-lined shadows, she remembers long sunny hours. When the boy took her out to play. Oh, how happy they both were. A great feeling of sadness came over her. She began to see all those wonderful days pass by, each more beautiful than the last. Then, in the same sack, she remembered the wonderful day when she first knew she was real. She thought of the skin horse. He was so wise and so gentle. All that the skin horse had told her was becoming true. What was the purpose to be loved and lose your beauty, only to become real, if it all ended like this tonight? And a tear, a real tear, trickled down her shabby, worn-out nose. It fell right down to the ground. Just then, a strange thing happened. Where the tear had just fallen, a flower grew out of the ground. A big, mysterious flower, unlike any flower in the garden. It was so beautiful that the rabbit stopped crying. She just lied there, watching it. Just then, the blossom opened, and out stepped a fairy. They are one of the loveliest fairies in the whole world. The fairy came close to the rabbit. Then the fairy gathered her up into their arms. Then kissed her right on her velveteen nose, which was still damp from crying. Little rabbit, don't you know who I am? The rabbit looked up at her. It seems she had seen this face before, but she could not think of where. I am the nursery magic fairy, the fairy said. I take care of all the toys that the children have loved. When they're old and worn out from the children who don't need them anymore, I come and take them away with me and turn them into real. Wasn't I real before? Asked the Velveteen Rabbit. You were real to the boy, because the boy loved you. Now I shall make you real to everyone else, said the fairy. The fairy held the little rabbit close in their arms and flew with the rabbit into the woods. The night began as the full moon had risen. Along the edge of the forest, it was beautiful. The open air between the trees had settled. The wild hares were dancing, their shadows reflecting on the ground. When they saw the fairy coming, they all stopped dancing and stood and stared at the rabbit. "I've brought you a new friend," the fairy said. "You must be very kind to her. Teach her all that she needs to know about becoming a hare, for she's going to live here forever." "And ever," said the magic fairy. The fairy then kissed the Velveteen Rabbit again, laying her down on the grass. "Run and play, little rabbit," the fairy said. The Velveteen Rabbit sat still for a moment. She did not move. For when she saw all the wild hares dancing around her, she suddenly remembered they teased her about her legs. She didn't want them to see that she was made out of velveteen. Or so she thought. The rabbit didn't know that when the fairy kissed her, she had changed completely. She sat there for a long time, still too shy to move. If only something hadn't tickled her nose. Before she even thought what she was doing, she lifted up her leg and scratched it. And she found that she actually had legs, instead of velveteen. She had a real brown fur that was soft and shiny. Her ears twitched by themselves. The whiskers were so long they brushed the grass. She gave one leap of joy. Then, using those legs, she went springing off. Jumping sideways, whirling around just like the other hares. She grew so excited that when she did stop to look for the fairy, the fairy had already disappeared. She was a real hare, at home in this beautiful forest with the other hares. Autumn had passed. And so did winter. Finally, the spring arrived. When the days became warmer, longer, and have more sun, the boy went out to play. He went to the edge of the forest. The boy stopped and saw two rabbits staring at him. One of the hares was brown all over, but the other hare had some strange markings under the fur. The nose was soft and the eyes were round. They looked so familiar. The boy thought to himself, "Why, she looks like my old Velveteen Rabbit that was lost when I had my fever." But the boy never knew that it really was the Velveteen Rabbit. She had finally come back to look at the boy, who would help her to become real.